Road to Success is brought to you by Equity Bank.
Equity Bank, you are listening, caring partner.
Welcome to Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. My guest today is Beatrice Omollo. She's the director of Smart Drivers Agency Limited. Welcome to the show, Beatrice.
Thank you.
Tell me about the business, where the idea came from when you started.
Smart Drivers Agency Limited is basically an organization that trains on road safety, creating awareness on road safety. That's basically our core business.
So when you say road safety, what do you mean?
I always tell people that road safety, in other words, we call it safe driving. And safe driving is all about developing the right attitude and approach while you're on the road and combining it with a sound knowledge of defensive driving techniques while you're doing your day-to-day driving, whether within the urban cities or going up country. So basically that is what road safety is all about. It's nothing complex.
So where did this idea come from?
For a very long time, I hated how people were driving on the roads. And most of the time when I'm on the road, I'm those people who will always keep cussing when you do something. And I normally talk to myself in the car and tell myself, like, you just didn't do that. Can't you see the signs are so clear? And for a very long time, it went on for a very long time. And one day I asked myself, what am I doing about it? I'll keep cussing for how long? Cars are increasing on the roads. People are learning. People are getting driving licenses like, certificates on a daily basis. What are we going to do? And if you look at it in the long term, there are so many accidents that we see on a daily basis on TV. And I get so touched when I see every time there's a road carnage, whether in town or outside town. And you look at the innocent lives that are lost. Who is doing something about it? No one is trying to salvage the situation. So I thought, if you hate something, what are you doing about it? That's how come I came up with Smart Drivers Agency. I retrain guys on road safety and just make them realize the effects of road safety, the impact of accidents on our population in our country. We all need to take responsibility as drivers.
When I think of the drivers on the road, they're all kinds of categories. Who does Smart Drivers Agency target?
We actually target anybody who is eligible to hold a driver license because there's no one exempted when it comes to road safety. We have programs for teenagers because nowadays teenagers are actually driving to school. And while they're out there, who's taking care of them? Nobody. We have the corporates, people who use drivers a lot on their sales, on their logistics. So we have the corporates, we have the women, have a women program. Because I look at women like an easier target. Most of us are pushed away by matatus. They tell you, what are you going to do to me? So they push you out. So I have a diverse defensive driving program. I have the school bus drivers who handle our precious children every day. Then PSV in long term, that's my last category, but yes, it's in part of my target group. So I'm concentrating on these others who are more or less neglected because all of us look at it like PSVs are the ones who cause problems on the road. But no, it's all of us. When you're on the road, we need to take responsibility. So that's why I have the different categories for the different groups to train.
So have you always been in business or, this whole interaction with drivers, where did it come from?
I've not always been in business. Actually, let me shock you, I was never a business person. I've always worked in the operations and logistic departments of courier companies. And there you deal with riders and drivers on a daily basis. You deal with the issues that come along. They are always getting accidents on the road, not because they did something, but somebody else was negligent while on the road. So I looked at it in terms of I always had to take them to hospital, just take care of them. And the time they are out, if somebody's leg is broken, what do? You have to get in somebody else. So even the cost implications are also very high. And having dealt with them for so long, then thereafter I got into business. I started developing business for another company. I asked myself, Beatrice, you can actually develop business for yourself. You have the idea, and now you have the skills to do the business. So why can't you combine the two and do the business for yourself? And that's how come I got into entrepreneurship.
So how did you set up Smart Drivers? Now you obviously had a burden, needing to educate or re-educate drivers on defensive driving and smart driving. So there was a burden. So how did you go about, registering your company and coming up with a curriculum and just the whole process of setting up the business?
Definitely, obviously started wondering what name am I going to use? Because it has to be a name that relates to driving and it has to be something that actually ignites your mind, like what is smart? What am I becoming smart about? So obviously there was a process of looking for the name. So I thought of the Smart Drivers name that would actually trigger people to see, yes, I'm a driver, but am I a smart driver? So I did the registration process according to the requirements of the company. And then I did a lot of research, actually for almost a year. I was just researching on the curriculum. What am I going to teach? Because then you've decided this is what you want to do, but what are you going to tell people that is new from the driving school? So when I felt I was ready with my curriculum and my training manual and everything was set, then yes, I went into the market to just see, what can I do? Now here I am.
We need to take a short break now. When we return, we'll hear more about Smart Drivers. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're watching Road to Success, the key to your next level in business. My guest today is Beatrice Omollo. She's the director of Smart Drivers Agency Limited. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Before we went on the break, you were sharing with us the origins of smart drivers, coming from a burden of just driving on our roads and feeling something more can be done. Do you have something for even motorbikes and the riders? Yes. Because, now we have a lot of borders on the roads, and I'm...
Definitely I do. I have something for the riders. As I told you before, I worked in a company where I was handling riders a lot. And actually those are the people who made me feel like I need to do something. These guys are getting hurt every day. And it's sometimes, if you look at how the border expansion has come about, you'll find most of them actually do not even go for training. They have any knowledge of safety, and they carry up to a mother, a child. You find the number of people on a border. And when I see that, I'm like, oh God, what can be done? This guy is so ignorant. He doesn't know the dangers of doing that. So yes, I have something for the motorbikes and the borders. Because the moment you tell people come for a training on road safety, they look at you like, what are you going to tell me? So I tell them this is actually an interactive session for us. You're a driver, I'm a driver. This is the knowledge I have, which I want to impart on you. Tell me what you think while you're on the road. And you look at it, actually after the 2 days, let me tell you, it's never enough. What we've gone through is never enough. I look at it like I've shortchanged these guys because there's so much to learn. When you go through it, you find there's so much to learn that we do on a daily basis and you don't realize it's actually dangerous.
What are some of the challenges that you're facing?
Like any other business we've had, obviously capital, getting my own training room, making it easier for people to even access, just to come, and get training. That has also, it's been a challenge. And doing the marketing and the advertising and just letting people know that I'm actually there and actually training on road safety. Obviously, it requires a lot of capital. The other major challenge I can give you is networking, or I would call it forming partnerships with the key stakeholders. That's both in the government and non-government side.
What does it take to be in your kind of business?
You have to be persistent. You have to have a focus. You have to have a purpose. What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? Do you just want to get these people's money, or do you want to just gather people? Or at the end of the day, what do you want to see? A reduction in road carnage. So you can easily give up because of what people tell you. But no, when you have the purpose, you have the vision, you have the focus, and the persistence, then you're good to go.
What was your most memorable training or set of people that you've met in your work?
When I trained the school bus drivers, because they're not the normal kind of drivers like you and me. Majority of them are old. And having interacted with them at that age, because you look at them, they are above 40, 45, you know, because they handle kids and they've been on the road for so long. Those were my most memorable group that I trained. And just having them give you feedback like, oh God, we've learned so much that we never thought was actually endangering, you know, other road users on the road, having been on the road for 25, 30 years, 40 years. It gave me so much gratification that they actually learned something from me, who initially they were looking at, this young girl, what does she know about road safety, you know? Yes.
What are some of the components that go into road safety? You talked about defensive driving, but I'm sure there are other components that go into road safety that you train.
We have stuff like when you're overtaking, when you're overlapping, skidding, coasting, which most of us do, including matatus, the dangers of coasting, thinking you're actually saving on fuel. You're not. You're actually endangering yourself. You have no control over that car when you do that. We have the 2-second rule. None of us observes that. You're actually supposed to be 2 seconds behind the car in front of you. But it actually doesn't happen in our setup. So those are some of the things we look at under defensive driving. Then on road safety, we look at the anticipation. What do you anticipate? How prepared are you for the actions of others? Not for you alone. The conditions around you, people's actions, the road users. When I say road users, it's not just the driver. We have the pedestrians. We have the people on the wheelchairs. We have the older generation of drivers. We have the children crossing the road. We have so much. And how prepared are you to deal with this group of people? The truck drivers, you know, people who really don't care. And we look at even the aspects of something as simple as a mirror. The different types of mirrors. There's the convex, there's the flat mirror. Which one do you use? Some of them actually distort images, and you can't actually see what is behind you. And because of that judgment, then you do something that will actually cause an accident on the other person. We have the superhighways. Which lanes do you use when you're on the superhighway? When are you causing an obstruction? And you'll be shocked that when you're on lane 4 and you're actually moving at 60 on a superhighway, you're obstructing. You can be arrested by a police for that. The lane discipline, the traffic lights, the signs. Do you understand what they actually mean? Other than that, there's the accident and emergencies. What do you do? In the event that you find an accident or you're involved in an accident, what are the first steps you take as a driver? If you're safe, yeah, you're not hurt.
So you also train on first aid?
Yes, we train on first aid. What do you do when somebody is in shock, when somebody is bleeding, when somebody is broken? What are the first steps you do before you actually call for help to come and get the person to the nearest medical facility? So it's actually a broad curriculum that covers every aspect of road safety that keeps you safe on the road, and also as well as taking care of the other people in the event that there's an emergency.
How do people find you? How do people know you exist?
We're actually very active on social media. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. We maintain a database, so we keep sending out a lot of mails. I have a website, smartdrivers.co.ke, and you'll find me there. And I've actually found in the last couple of 6 months, I have so many hits. People are actually getting to know I'm actually existing. And I can see so many guys actually accessing my website and even subscribing to any newsletter that I could have to send just on road safety issues. And I've also come up with a Road Safety Ambassadors Network. It's just a group I've formed for people to actually interact on road safety matters and just see what can we do about it. Get everybody out there doing something about road safety, because I can't do it myself.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, I never leave my guests without asking them what is their vision for their business.
We're looking at smart drivers being an authority when it comes to road safety matters, both in Africa, both in Kenya, Africa, and globally. We're looking at smart drivers being part of the people who make key decisions and policies that actually change the driving patterns in Kenya and in Africa.
Beatrice, thank you so much for coming to share your story with us. It was great having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Anne.
Have a great week. God bless.
road to success is brought to you by Equity Bank.
Equity Bank. You are listening, caring partner.